Hello, Instagram. All right. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic day. Mommy Mondays. And I'm going to give everybody a second to come on in. Hello, Azriel. How are you guys doing? I'm going to ask the same question everybody else asking. That baby here yet? All right, you guys. I'm trying to get Facebook set up as well over here. Okay. All right. I think we're good. Okay, we're live in both places. Hello, everyone. I am super excited to have the opportunity to kind of spend a little time with you guys. Hello, Charlene. I'm in my closet today, okay? This is the place that I was the most comfortable. I'm sorry. If you in here, you done seen everything before, so I'm not even concerned with that. So I'm gonna double try my best to look at both cameras while I'm talking. I couldn't get my Facebook set up to be exactly next to my phone for Instagram. So I'm super excited to have a little time with you all today. It has just been so much going on. This live almost didn't happen because today was just super rough. So today almost did not happen because I was scared to just be like, oh well, maybe next time. But as you all know, I have 3 children. 2 of them are in the bed. My 1-year-old though is right here. Jackson, go back with daddy, okay? I know, it's rough. Babe. Babe. It's okay. The hubby's gonna come and grab him. He's not joining us on live tonight. This live isn't for him. So, okay. But super excited to be with you guys. Sometimes you have to gather yourself to make sure that you can do what it is you said you were going to do and be a man or a woman of your word. And today was a very overwhelming day, and I almost didn't do my first Mommy Monday. So there you go. That's how you know everything that we're going to talk about is going to be a little stressed. So I had made a little jingle and everything that I was going to sing. And I'm just not in the mood. I'm just not. But this is Mommy Mondays. And maybe next week when I gather myself accordingly, I will feel a little more in the mood to sing my little jingle and everything. And so that's a great place to start because you do not have to feel obligated to do anything as a parent. I'm going to say parent because we are in a pandemic and there are stay-at-home moms, there are stay-at-home dads. So I don't want to just say mother or wife or female. There are also stay-at-home dads because before the pandemic and even now with the pandemic, people have lost their jobs. There have been a lot of different things going on. So there's also stay-at-home dads. There are couples that are married. There are couples that are not married. There are single parents. So there's going to be a little bit of everything for everybody. I'm not going to try to cater to one particular group. So I made myself a little script so that I don't go too far off because I have so much I want to say. So I'm trying to make sure I stick to my left and right limits. But first and foremost, I know a lot of people are always like, well, what gives them the, ability to be able to speak or say whatever it is they're saying or share whatever it is they're saying. So if you don't know me, I am a wife and mother of 3. I have a 1-year-old a 5-year-old, and a 6-year-old. So my 3 are all 6 and under, and it is definitely not something that is easy by any means. So that alone gives me some credential, baby. Okay. All right. Life experiences, credentials. Okay. And then too, on top of that, especially on the marriage end, for that aspect, it is a little more difficult. So, I have a bachelor's degree. I went to the Alabama State University. I have a master's degree. In the process of working through my EDD. And, I'm a licensed minister. I have certification in biblical studies. I'm a licensed life coach, certified life coach, and I'm also a marriage mentor, certified marriage mentor through the Preparing Rich program. So there's just a little bit there. I know I don't owe that to anybody, but I just say that for the person who's coming, who doesn't know me, who, may be unsure of the things that I'm about to say, and why I'm saying them. So that's just a little bit of background so you can understand. So I wanted to start really in the area of the word break. So when we think about break, most of the times we think about breaking something. I mean, I have a pen in my hand. We think about it being broken or broken into pieces, or when you break something, it's no longer whole. So when you take a break, it doesn't mean that you are broken. A break can also be a pause. A break can also be a moment that you use to gather yourself. You step in your car, you use your brakes. Okay. The brakes allow you to slow down. They allow you to stop. They also allow you to hold in place even though the car is in drive. So now that's a whole nother word within itself. But I will just say that, it's important to understand that break, when we talk about taking a break as a parent, or when we talk about needing a break, it doesn't mean that you are broken. And I wanted to start there because, as some of you may have seen in my post, there have been a lot of people, because, the world we live in right now, everybody, is entitled to their opinion, but they always feel the need to say something. Okay. So, they're entitled to their opinion, but a lot of people have been making a lot of comments, specifically to, moms who have been, posting and saying things about needing a break. Nobody told you to have kids. That's your problem. You need to take care of your kids. Your children are your responsibility. You need to do this, and this. Okay. And that's great. And I do understand that nobody told me to lay down and have kids, but the thing is, just because I had my children doesn't mean that I have to always have them with me. So, the shaming that has been going on kind of across multiple social media platforms, because that's where people feel the most brave. It's really has just been a little disturbing. And I've had a couple of people that I follow who have, hey, Nika. I've had a couple of people that I follow who have literally just, talked about breaking down. I'm going to tell you guys something. It is not easy to raise children well. See, it's different when you don't care and you just doing whatever you want. You're living your life the way you want to live your life, and not concerned about anybody else. Okay, that's not good parenting. We're talking about people who are doing their best to be a good parent. The people who are trying their best to, sow seeds of positivity, that, sow water and shine on their kids so that they can grow. Okay? Because, if you're not a good parent, there's a lot of things that fall underneath that category, right? Then you're not concerned with caring for your kids, and you're probably already getting your breaks. You're probably already, just dropping your kids off anywhere with anybody. And all I can do is speak for me. I don't trust everybody with my kids. Anybody who knows me knows that my children have only stayed with family. If my family is not available, then there's then that's it. Because I just don't trust it. The world we live in, people are just too evil, too mean. So I just don't do it. But, you know, for people to shame moms, and at this point, even dads who are home with their kids all day, tending to them, that they don't need a break, is just wrong. And on top of that, you know, I saw a post and I totally agreed with it. You know, they were like, well, you get a break. When you take a shower, that's a break. When you are cooking or you by yourself, that's a break. When you ride in the car, no, that's not a break. Riding in the car by yourself is not a break because you're thinking about what you need for the kids. You know, taking a shower is not a break. Having a phone call, me doing this live, this is not a break. Okay? A break, like I said, when you use a vehicle, when you press on the brakes, it begins to slow down and it actually brings the car to a stop. You have to, in order for a parent to actually have a break, in order for a parent to actually have a break, they have to be able to bring their mind to a complete stop, complete halt. Not be thinking about the kids, not be thinking about what the kids need or the family need, on thinking of themselves. And some people may say that that is selfish. It is not. Because if you are not able to take care of yourself, then you cannot take care of anybody else. Anybody. And it's just so unfortunate that many times we find ourselves in a position where, you know, we can't do anything for anyone because we aren't taking care of ourselves. You know? And if you're not taking care of yourself, how are you able to even take care of anyone else? Anyone, if you're not taking care of yourself. So I just want the mom, the dad, whomever that's raising the children, spending the most time with the child, to understand it's okay to take a break. Because the other part to it is that as a mom, I can only speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for y'all, okay? I'm only going to speak for me. When I take a break, I'm feeling guilty. Oh, I shouldn't have left the kids. I shouldn't have, I should have did this. I should have did that. Oh, let me call them and check on them and see how they doing. Oh, let me call so-and-so and make sure they good, this and the other. Take a break. Step all the way away and don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel guilty about having an opportunity to think about yourself. Like, how would you define you? How do you define yourself? It's like if somebody said, oh, hey, Ebony, how are you? How are you? Most of the time as parents, our first response is, oh, I'm fine. The kids. Oh, I'm fine. Oh, my husband. Oh, I'm fine. And when it comes to us, the answer or the response is always, oh, I'm fine. Are you? Are you okay? Are you good? Because if you were okay as a parent and you were good, then why is it that when people ask you who you are and have you to define yourself, you can barely do that? You're more than a wife, husband, mother, father, or whatever category you want to place. You're more than that. If you had to define your name, I blank, filling your name, am filling the blank. Who are you? And you have to be able to define that for yourself. And if you can't, how can you help cultivate children to understand who they are if you don't know who you are? And I'm not saying you're going to have all the answers, you're going to know everything. I'm 35 and I don't have all the answers and I don't know everything. But what I do know is that I have to constantly work on myself. Because who we are rubs off on our kids. And you have to take that time to get yourself together. Okay, I'm real off my little script I wrote in my notes, but it's okay. But I think it's important to understand the importance of taking that break and being okay taking a break from your kids. So, This is why the element of mental health is so important, because right now we're living in a time where everybody is in the house. Everybody is everybody's living in their home with their families. You know, we've been in a pandemic, people have been quote unquote trapped in their homes, and they're having this opportunity to spend more time with their children than they ever have before. And now you're telling them, after spending a whole day, I'm gonna speak on myself, after spending a whole day with a 1, 5, and 6-year-old, tending to their schooling, a 1-year-old who's screaming and crying because he doesn't talk, so he's trying to communicate, but he's frustrated too, so he's screaming and crying. You're telling me that the person who's dealt with that all day doesn't feel some kind of way? That there's not some kind of emotional connection to what's happening to them throughout the day? It's not possible. There are plenty of times in the middle of the day that I wish I could walk off my job. And when I say walk off my job, you know, I'm a mother of 3. I'm a stay-at-home mom. That is my job. And it's plenty of times I feel like picking up my purse and my bag and being like, you know what, I'm out of here. But I don't get that opportunity. I could do it, but that's not who I am. So what I'm saying is that, you know, when parents have rough days, when they have a bad day, they still have to address those feelings and emotions for themselves, because if they're not addressing those feelings and emotions, all of that is rubbing off on the kids. All of it. You broken, and you rubbing your broken pieces on your kids. That make cuts. Anybody rubbing against broken glass might get cut. Don't get me wrong. Some people got some tough skin. But if you rub it back and forth, they gonna bleed. And that's unfair to our children for us not to care for ourselves enough that we take the time we need to focus on our mental health. We have to mentally and emotionally be prepared to parent our children. Now, I'm not saying that, okay, you can plan it and everything gonna work out exactly the way you want to plan, the way you want it to work, and then you can have the child. It's never going to be a perfect time to have children, ever. It'll never be a perfect time to have kids. I mean, you just when your creator desires for it to happen, it happens. I mean, you are no longer in control at all. So it's just whenever it happens. Hey guys, thank you so much for coming in. But you know, this stigma around mental health in the Black community is so unfortunate, because let me tell you something. I love therapy. I love therapy. Yes, parenting is on 100 during the pandemic. Woo! Okay? Listen. Mental health is so important, guys. And going to therapy, literally, I mean, it was pre-pandemic, obviously, for me. And then a lot of people are doing virtual sessions, so you can do virtual sessions. But there is nothing wrong with therapy. There's nothing wrong with talking to someone about the thoughts that you have in your mind, about the thoughts that you think about yourself. Because I'm going to tell you now, and people who know me know that I'm very honest. My husband and I, we are always very honest, even as a couple, when we talk with other couples about marriage and things like that. And this is the thing. You only get but so much time on this earth. Do you really want to spend the time you have on this earth in bondage? In bondage, bound by your mind? When it's so much life to live? I know the world seems a little chaotic right now. I get it. But what I'm saying is, you deserve to live. You deserve to live. You deserve peace. You should receive grace. It's already yours. You should receive it. But it's hard to receive something when you don't even know how to put your hands out to get it. Bondage Breaker. Oh, I'm going to have to get that, G. I'm going to have to get that. I don't think I've heard of that book. But I think it's so important to get out of the bondage of our minds. And this even with schooling right now, everybody's dealing with virtual learning, homeschooling, or physically in the school, whatever your option is. And there's no shame here. I'm not shaming anyone for whatever option you choose for your kids. You do what you have to do and what you feel works best for your family, and that's okay. But what I am saying is, don't place weight on yourself. You don't place weight on yourself that you don't need. Don't place unnecessary weight on yourself. What do I mean by that? When I say don't place weight on yourself, some of us just feel obligated based off of our surroundings, people, the way we grew up. We feel obligated to put our kids into certain situations. I feel obligated to put my child into the school building with the four walls because that's what's best for them. That's what works. Okay, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you choosing that. What I am saying is, don't place your weight on your kids because of your choice. Ooh, I'm trying to be careful with my words here. Don't place your weight on your children because you haven't released yourself of what you've obligated yourself to. Notice how I didn't include nobody else. You haven't released yourself of what you obligated yourself to. You got to release yourself from that. Like for me, I know my biggest struggle was in my mind. I kept saying, oh, my kids, they got to go to school. They got to do this. They got to do that, because this is the best thing for them. But then I also, on the other end, on the other end of it, I'm like, but they don't teach everything I want my children to know in school. So maybe there are other options. Opening your mind up to believe and know and understand that there are other things that will work and can work for you and your family. And yes, I absolutely agree that you don't make your children your entire world. You don't. People ask me, and there was it was such a big discussion about it a couple years ago because people did not agree with me. They were like, so what's your order? Like, what's your order? So for me, my order is my faith, my husband, my kids. And people were like, for those of you who don't know, I'm on Instagram and Facebook, so that's why I keep looking. Okay. But they were like, well, what you mean? Your kids come first. Oh, no, ma'am. See, it's different for me. I'm married, had my kids. Everybody's situation is not the same. So it may feel a little bit different. If you are a single mom, yes, your kids are first. No question about it. Do what you have to do, but don't make them your world. You have to still be a whole human being, able to care not just for yourself, but for others. I want to read the rest of what you wrote because it's not showing. Our kids are not supposed to be our entire universe either. There's an order to life. God, spouse, children. When the order is disrupted, life is, yes. Look, I didn't even read what you said, but I just said the same thing. I absolutely agree. People don't understand that order. Some people don't agree with that order, and that's totally okay. Everybody is entitled to believe whatever they want to believe. Everybody is, has that option in their opinion. But for me in my house as a parent, I have to remember to cultivate my marriage. Focus on my faith, cultivate my marriage. Those are the two things I have to do, because if those things are in order, everything else begins to fall into place. And that's a whole nother conversation for another live, because that transitions into intimacy and what that looks like, and intimacy not always being physical, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But it's definitely, I've read 4 Laws of Love. My husband and I read it together. Absolutely fantastic book, and I've read it twice at this point. Such a good book. I love 4 Laws of Love. Amazing. Literally, my husband and I read it together the first time, and then I read it myself the second time. Great book. It has some amazing tools in it for married couples. But if you don't have a drink, go get one. My drink of choice is Snapple Apple. I'm not drinking any alcoholic, but Snapple Apple. And this is my husband and I's wedding glass. You see our marriage stuff on there. I'm gonna hold it up on both screens. But anyway, whatever your drink of choice is, that's fine. But I really believe in the importance of marriage. Marriage is so important, and parenting. You know, whatever that looks like for you is cool. But whatever that looks like for me, you got to be cool with that too. I think we live in this world where everybody feels like, well, not everybody. Language is important. And so is clarity. Clarity is important too, okay? We live in a world where many people want to say other people are allowed opinions, but they want you to agree with them. They want you to agree with what they say. And you'll notice that they have a lot of yes people around them. Those types of people, they have a lot of yes people around them that's going to say yes to whatever they say and whatever they do. And that's okay. But that's not a good place to be. You want to be able to be open to constructive criticism. Not necessarily. Now, I'm hesitant with that because not necessarily about your kids. You don't have to receive and accept everything people want to tell you about raising your children. You do what works best for your family. But when it comes to, getting advice and hearing others out, and, especially with the racial tension that we have going on in the world today, learn to have a listening ear. There's something called active listening. Active listening. Everybody's marriage is not the same. What works for another marriage may not work for yours. Absolutely. I 100% agree with that statement. 100% agree. But I think it's important for people to understand that, I know I'm kind of bouncing, but, the whole concept of keeping up with the Joneses. And some people, I see them, they got married, or they buying houses, because social media will trick you. Social media will have you fooled. Social media will have you thinking that, people don't have full-time jobs. They making all this money being on social media. They making all this money from posts. No. Broke it in a joke. Okay? They putting on for the city. Okay? They putting on for the city. And you have to be able to decipher through that. It's important to be able to have discernment. Being able to know and understand what's good and what's not. What is beneficial, what is not. Learning to understand that now. Even if you're not married, even if you are single. It's nothing wrong with gaining some understanding of yourself, who you are, what you think, what you want to be. Learning about all of that ahead of time. So that when you do get married or when you do become a parent, you're not projecting onto other people anything negative. I'm not saying you're going to get rid of everything and life won't, bring its challenges. But you have to be able to kind of move your way through things to really gain that understanding. Okay. So, I think that it's important to understand coping skills. Coping skills are very important. So when you talk about whatever the order is for you, like I said, mine is my faith, my husband, and my children. So understanding how to have certain coping skills. Like I said, I went to therapy. I'm exposing my children to therapy at a young age because I don't want them to think it's bad to talk about their feelings. My children at 5 and 6 know how to use the words frustrated, overwhelmed, annoying, irritated, so that they can actually verbalize their feelings and their emotions. Because a lot of the problem when kids start having tantrums and things like that is because they don't know how to verbalize what they're feeling. They don't know how to verbalize their emotions. They don't know how to verbalize how something made them feel. So if you teach your kids words, then they use those words. And I remember when I had my daughter, she was 6. I think before she turned 1, we always went to the library. We just went to the library. They have story time, activities, crafts. I put her around books. Because, you know, the old saying is, if you want to hide something, put it in a book. Well, you won't be able to hide nothing from me, and you won't be able to hide nothing from my kids. Because I enjoy reading, my husband enjoys reading, and our children enjoy reading. My daughter has a whole library in her room of books that she loves to read. And I wanted to make sure at a young age that they were exposed to words, books, knowledge. And now my daughter is at a point where she can have a full conversation, even with an adult, about how she's feeling, what's going on. And that's important. She needs to be able to verbalize. And I learned through my own personal therapy sessions how to not, cut her off at the knee. That phrase, just like how not to shut her out, or when she starts saying she's frustrated or overwhelmed, how to accept when she makes those adult statements and not reject her. Like, girl, you don't know what you're talking about. No, they know. They know what they're saying. They know how to use those words. They know what that language means. They're trying to tell you, and you need to be able to receive and accept what they're saying and have some coping skills or coping mechanisms to help them be able to deal with that. So one of the things that I try to do with my daughter when she gets overwhelmed or frustrated, and even that I have used for myself when it comes to her using words frustrated, overwhelmed, mommy, I'm just anxious, things like that. Whatever she might say, I try to say, okay, my next question usually is, why do you feel that way? Or what made you feel that way? Because even adults need to understand their triggers. So as a child, I'm trying to help her learn, grow, and identify what her triggers are so that she can maneuver through them, so that she's not paralyzed moving through life by these things that trigger her. Doing my best to give her an opportunity to have something that I didn't have. Because I don't know if I've ever shared like my story about how I grew up in that background. Now it's not the time, but it wasn't pretty. Wasn't pretty. People who are close to me know how I grew up, and it wasn't pretty. But it made me who I am today. It made me very strong. Okay? But I didn't know how to identify my triggers. And I know I've told the story on multiple occasions about how being with my husband when we first got married, even in our dating, he used to just, tell me I was beautiful and stuff all the time. And I would reject that type of language. I would reject the language of him calling me beautiful or saying how pretty I was. I didn't want to receive that. I would just reject it all the time. And it took us, after we got married, he said it to me one time and I responded. He was just like, look, And I remember just crying and crying. He made me say, I am beautiful. He made me say the words. He was like, you are beautiful, but I want to hear you say I am. He made me say it. We spent like 30 minutes to an hour with this man affirming me, making me affirm myself, learning how to really call myself, not only what other people see me, but how my father sees me. And so that's important because I don't want my daughter to be in the same position growing up, not being able to accept the positive things people are trying to give her, not being able to receive that positivity. Because if you're not, my inability to accept the word beautiful, to accept the word pretty, to accept those words had a significant effect on how I saw myself. And guess what? If my husband had not, coached me in that particular season, how do you think what kind of language do you think I would be using with my daughter? I would just be giving her what I have. See, that's the problem. A lot of times we're giving our kids what we have. And what we have is a lot of broken pieces. Like I told you earlier, if you broken and somebody rub against you, they getting cut. And if we as parents walking around here broken, you walking around here cutting up your kids. And I know that might seem rough, And that might seem harsh, but what I'm telling you is the truth. Put your pieces together so you can start cutting people up. And that ain't just your kids. That's a word for you and what you're doing with your family, the people you call your friends. The reason you lonely and by yourself is because you done rejected so many people because you got all these broken pieces. Everybody get close to you, you cutting them up. They sick of bleeding. Sick of it. I should know. I was broken. I'm 35, still putting glue on my pieces. My vase, it looked like it's together, but honey, you step too close or touch that thing, it might fall apart again. I'm working on my glue. And this time I'm using that Gorilla. This time I'm using that Gorilla Glue. You heard me? Okay? I'm using something I know gonna make it stick. Because my kids are worth it. Now, they're not the priority. You might not agree with that. I don't care. Okay? I don't care if you don't agree with it. But I'm just telling you right now, I'm working on me. I got to get me together as a parent so I can stop projecting. I have to get me together. Listen, I'm not going to talk about y'all. You know what I'm saying? I know some of y'all know what you're going through. I'm not going to talk about you. And those of you just come in, hey, y'all. But I'm on Instagram and Facebook. That's why I'm looking. Okay? But I know some of y'all. I need an after session on this one. Girl, I'm going to call you. But listen, I have to focus on me. I have to have the opportunity to gather myself, get myself together, and stop projecting on my kids. No, they're not the priority. You might not agree with that. I say that every time I say it. You might not agree with that. My kids are not my priority. I have to make myself a priority to be able to prioritize my kids. And you might not agree. You don't have to agree with me. You do what work for you in your house. You know what I'm saying? Whatever work for you might not work for me. And that's okay. That's why we scroll through. Anyway, you're on social media, you scroll and be like, oh, that's a word. Oh, that's good. Double tap. Oh, okay, that's good. Oh, I like that. Oh, they get smiley face, care, sad, angry. If you don't like, you have the option to choose. And baby, you can scroll right on by my comments. You can scroll right on by what I'm saying. But it's the truth for me. I can't speak on your truth. But the problem is, can you speak on your truth? Can you tell your truth? Can you say what you mean? I remember when my husband and I first got married, one of the things, he would say is, babe, you sometimes you be treat me like a child. And I'm like, well, if you act like a child, I'm going to treat you like a child. And that's not what I should have said, right? If you act like a child, I'm going to treat you like a child. That's not what I should have said in that moment. But what he meant, not that he wasn't doing child, but the way I was speaking to him, my tone, the way I was saying things, made him feel like I was admonishing him versus communicating with him. These folks need to like it. If you're not together, you can't show up for anyone else. Period. Don't that little give the little thing say period. God, you can't show up for nobody. I'm a veteran. I was in the military, and I used to tell my soldiers all the time, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of nobody else. And guess what? Doers do what checkers check. What does that mean? If somebody's supposed to be doing it, that means somebody should be checking it. Who checking you, boo? You say you doing your devotion. You say you doing self-care. Who checking you? Where your accountability at? I had to get me an accountability partner. I got somebody wake up with me every morning, 6:45. We do devotion. Spend a little time with the Lord. And then turn around right at 7. 3 times a week, y'all, not every day. We do devotion every day, but 3 times a week we work out. So at 7 o'clock, 10-minute workout. Quick. Hit a quit, But, who gonna check you? Doers do what checkers check. If nobody's checking to see if you're doing it, then it may not be getting done. And that's even with you. Are you checking yourself? Are you making a list, checking it twice, finding out who's naughty or nice? Y'all know I love Christmas. Okay? But you got to check yourself. Make a list. Make a to-do list. And tell yourself this is due by. Give yourself some due dates or something. And even with your kids, if they ask you something, want to do something, whatever, put it on a calendar. Kids really desire just having somebody to be there for them. Consistency. Tell them the truth. That don't mean you got to put them all in your business, your finances. Kids shouldn't carry that weight. But what I'm saying is that they deserve the right to your honesty. Like, you should be able to tell the truth. How you expect them to tell you the truth and you lying to them? So, I think I'm done. Do you guys have any questions? Any questions? Anything specific? I'm going to, moving forward, I'm going to do these every Monday. Hey, Randy. I'm on 2, Instagram and Facebook. But I think I'm going to do Mommy Mondays moving forward. It might be a venting session. It's just going to depend on how my week goes. How my weekend, week, whatever goes. And I'll be here on Mondays at 9. Mommy Mondays. And I might vent. Or if you got questions or something, you can send them in. DM me. And I'll talk about it. It's fine. But today was the first day. It was just me getting a few things off my chest, I guess. And like I said, for those of you just coming in, this live almost didn't happen because my kids had got on my nerves so bad that I was like, well, there ain't gonna be no live today. But I had me a little jingle and everything that I had wrote, and I was gonna come in and sing it and give it to y'all and be like, yes. And I came on here, I was like, ooh, not today. But I will. Next Monday, I'm going to sing my jingle no matter what. I wrote it. So, it's Mommy Mondays. I don't know if I'm ready. So, I'll sing it next week. But I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. Y'all know, I know Instagram will cut you off. I don't know about Facebook, but you only get so much time. But if you guys have questions about anything, it doesn't matter. Marriage, family, kids, whatever it is, you can send me in some questions and I'll go over them. I actually am going to have some mommies kind of come in with me on certain days to kind of share their side, because I'm a mommy of 3 and the perspective is always different when it's a mommy of 1, mommy of 2, 3, 4, whatever the amount of children, single moms, single dads. I'm going to have a variety, but I'm going to have some other parents that are going to come and join me. And just, I know it's Mommy Mondays, but we might have some dads kind of step into. It's no day of the week that start with a D. So, Monday Daddy. I don't know. We'll throw it in there some kind of way. We got to let the dads have something to say. And maybe I'll bring my husband in here. I don't know. The closet is my space. So, I might not want him in the closet with me. But, in this closet. Okay. But, I appreciate you guys sticking with me this long. And, holding it down. But, if you have questions, you can send them to my messenger or DM me. Those of you who are on Instagram. And I greatly appreciate you. So we will talk soon. Okay, I'm going to sing my jingle on the way out. Mommy Mondays. That's the first part of it. I wrote some more words. But that's what you get for now. Mommy Mondays. Okay? All right, I will see you guys next Monday. You can make it. I hope you will. All right. Bye, guys.